What a historic day today has been. As of recording this, Starship only a few hours ago took to the skies, and wow, just wow. Starship has officially been semi-proven. We'll get to that can make it through re-entry, splashdown successfully in the Indian Ocean, and the booster landing propulsively into the water softly this time. All mission objectives were reached. Now, the true question is, what all happened this test flight? We're gonna slowly break it down, so continue with us. Starting off, the launch went off without a hitch, went blasting right through the 40-second hold that they could have hold at, but they went right ahead with the launch without issue. All 33 lit up initially. One failed right after a liftoff, around T plus 3 seconds into flight. So everything, still in nominal conditions, just one engine out. So it was not the cleanest looking burn from the ground cameras, but, it's destined to happen. As it continued to follow what IFT 2 and 3 continued to do, all the way up to hot staging, the ascent looked flawless. And actually this time, it didn't look like any tiles came off, at least from the view that we could see. As we approached hot staging, the booster separated flawlessly, but the main event was seeing if the boost back would fully finish. If you don't recall, the booster on the last time of the flight attempt, the booster shut down its engines, 6 of its engines, right before it was supposed to, so it shut down prematurely, which also meant those engines didn't light later on. So yeah, it finished its boost back burn. The shutdown was nominal. And then we had the first ever jettison of the hot stage, which actually went a lot more cleanly than a lot of people thought. Besides the point, Super Heavy came back down. A lot more controlled this time. And the grid fins were a little shaky, I have to admit. They were a little shaky. They were fighting for quite a bit. But once it slowed down, everything was coming good. And the moment of truth came around. 13 engines were supposed to light, only 12 did. But that didn't seem to really matter, because it landed successfully. It slowed down, performed a hover, and then splashed down into the water. It lost contact immediately as it was about to tip over. It probably crushed itself, due to its empty tanks. Besides the point, it was going to be destroyed anyway, so whatever. The main objective was hit. It splashed down softly. Now, I honestly think they should wait until catch attempt, but Elon has already said on Twitter, as of making this video, that they might go for the tower catch next time, which is a little scary because this has only been tested once. I feel like it should be tested a few times. Besides the point, the ship continued going on into orbit as the booster probably blew itself to pieces in the water. And then we had Seco, which is second stage cutoff. And it was the coast face, because this time we didn't have any propellant transfer, payload door testing, or relight testing. Because I'm assuming that they didn't really want to dare do that. They wanted to test the main event, which was re-entry. Re-entry, around an hour later, everything was a lot more stable. No rotation this time. It came in screaming into the atmosphere. Way more stable. Actually facing the heat shield this time. Everything looked phenomenal. It got passed through its last time altitude of around 65 kilometers altitude on IFT 3. It passed that without a hitch. However, later on, something was happening with one of its flaps. And we don't know if it was happening with any of the others, but one of the flaps was burning through. We had a burn through of one of the flaps, and now a lot of people thought that was going to be the end. But somehow, over some miracle, that flap was able to hold on by a thread, despite of the burn through having half the flap disintegrated. it still continued on all the way down through the thicker parts of the atmosphere, somehow, holding on by a thread, and got to the landing burn phase, and it flipped successfully. It was the first time we saw a landing burn flip maneuver with Raptor 2, and it went flawlessly. Landing burn, we couldn't really see too much, but we could tell it was flipping. The camera was damaged in the process of that flap disintegrating, but it made it, which has been proven that we could lose a decent portion of the flap. Obviously something that needs to be improved on, but that is very impressive. But anyway, it did its propulsive landing and softly splashed down and then lost contact shortly thereafter. Very impressive nonetheless. So what is there to learn? Well, obviously, there was a few engines out in certain portions, so on a sense, that's not really an issue. They can fly up to 3 engines being out, so it was still in flight operational ranges. Booster landing burn, they lost 1, maybe a little thing that needs to be learned there, but still, again, they have some wiggle room for engines being out. And then the main thing that they need to look at is the burn through on the flaps, because that's not ideal for reusability. So they'll probably learn a lot more of what happened there. It was probably they might have to add some more heat shield tiles around the place, or have some more heavier thermal protection tiles around places. But besides the point, it performed flawlessly. It beat all of its objectives that it was supposed to, and everybody's happy. And if anybody thought Starship is just like, oh, it's never gonna work, well, it worked with half a flap missing, which no rocket's ever been able to do that. It's also the largest. We had views all the way through re-entry as well. That's nutty. So congratulations to the SpaceX team. And also, here, we're having some big footage released soon. As I'm recording this, there's some footage coming soon. And I cannot wait to show it to everybody. But that's going to wrap up this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry about this being a little, rushed, but we're trying to get these videos out as soon as possible. So mind the stumbles. Anyway, see you guys next time. This is Daniel, signing off.